Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are interviewing or talking to Celeste, who was a former client who tapered successfully, who did a blind taper, who did not get worse on her way down, who got better, and she's off now. She did a successful taper off her antidepressant after a very long period of time. And I took the suggestion from someone in the audience that asked for stories that were easier during a taper, that didn't get hard. So she is an example of just one. So Celeste, will you say hi before you share
Hi.
your story? Awesome. Welcome. So if you are new to our channel, please subscribe. It helps more people see this. That's just the way YouTube works. I hate it just as much as you do. And comment below or ask questions if you have in the comments. Celeste will probably come back and read them and comment because usually guests
Yeah.
do. But so Celeste, can you take us through, let's just start at the very beginning of your story. What brought you to take an antidepressant?
So I grew up dancing, and I remember in junior high, I was on a dance company, and I was also on the track team doing a lot, and just really enjoying life. Well, I got shingles, which, if you know what that is, it's like oh gosh, it's
Painful.
awful. It's super painful. And the rash healed. I think I was about 14 at the time, 14 or 15. And I went, I healed, like the rash healed, everything. But then I started experiencing post shingles syndrome, which is called post herpetic neuralgia. It's like this crazy thing. And what I would do, or what I would experience was nerve pain in my legs. So it basically radiated from where I had shingles. And that was awful. I was in high school at the time on a dance company, and at nighttime the nerve pain would flare up. So it was like little prickling needles, like 100 prickling needles, and I would sit there in a ball and just cry. And my mom and dad just kind of sat and watched me like, this is awful. So they took me to the doctor, and I remember this doctor said, oh, my memory has been affected. So you'll kind of like, you know how that is. I'm just telling you what I remember. But
It's all good.
yeah, this doctor said there's a brand new medicine on the market, a brand new drug on the market, and it will help with this nerve pain that you're experiencing. And it's kind of like an antidepressant. So it can't help, but it can only, no, it can't hurt, but it can only help. And I just remember thinking like, okay. And she also told my mom, because my mom took me, she said, don't worry, this is a safe and effective drug, and easy to come off. And so it was just
And you
so
were only
strange.
15 at the time? You were so
Yeah,
young, so you didn't, yeah.
I think I was about 16 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember feeling like, what is an antidepressant? Like, what is this? They prescribed me Lyrica for the nerve pain. And I was like, I'm not a depressed person. My life is amazing. And the nerve pain would only flare up kind of at nighttime, so it wasn't a big deal. Um, Not really. Well, anyway, I got put on Lyrica, and I don't know how long I stayed on it or what I felt like, but when the nerve pain subsided, whether it was due to the drug or not, I felt awful when they cold turkeyed me. Like they just stopped because
Yeah.
it was safe. And I just remember feeling awful and kind of feeling a depression that I'd never felt before, like a very minor depression. And so my mom was like, "Oh, well, let's just take you to a psychiatrist, a psychiatric doctor." And then they prescribed me Cymbalta. They were like, "Oh, I think they might have made the connection that I had been on Lyrica, maybe not." But they gave me Cymbalta. And I remember at this time just being so hurt and confused. Like, why am I feeling this way? Like, and why am I was given a diagnosis of depression. And that like kind of hurts when you're a teenager and you're trying to establish who you are. And yeah, that was very strange.
So basically, you probably had depression as a withdrawal symptom from Lyrica because they cold turkeyed you, but instead of that being seen as a withdrawal effect, they saw that as a new disorder, not even a relapse of some pre-existing disorder, but something new. So now you have depression, and because you didn't have the frame of reference for like this could be a withdrawal symptom, now you're put on another drug.
Exactly. And then Cymbalta became the roller coaster drug for me. It was like they kept upping the dose like every 2 to 4 weeks or something, because I would go back into a depressive state. And after we kept going up, up, up so many times, my parents were like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is obviously not working. And so
why were they going up? Because you just felt like it's not fixing the depression that you were feeling?
They were like, well, you keep getting depressed. Like, you keep going back down. Like, you'd be fine, and then you'd go back down. And it was crazy. It was like I was sleeping a lot more. I don't know.
Looking back though, could you see that? Was that like poop out? Like the drugs stopped working, like you reach tolerance and then you need more, and yep. Isn't it fascinating how our perspective changes like as you go through this process, like the way you thought things were happening are different having gone through this? Yeah. So you're a teen with no pre-existing mental health condition, and now all of a sudden you have one. Yeah.
Yep.
So then take me through. You were in Cymbalta, and then you went to what drug, and then to what, and then to what, and then to like, how did the last 20 years transpire?
So Cymbalta, I don't remember how long I was on that, but it was probably like a year or less. And they cold turkeyed me off of it once they were like, obviously this is not working for you because we keep having to up the dose. And so I was cold turkeyed off of Cymbalta. And then I started experiencing like this anxiety, like mild, and like, I don't even know if I can call it panic attacks or anything like that. I don't know what I was experiencing, but after being cold turkeyed off of Cymbalta, I was given a new diagnosis of anxiety. So now I have anxiety and depression, and I was given Paxil. So that basically was just such a heartbreak to me, because I was like, I just am getting more broken.
Worse. How old are you at this time when that happened?
Probably about around 17. So I'm getting ready. I'm like finishing up high school, 17, 18. And now I get put on Paxil, and now I'm going to go off to college. And college was really hard. Well, being on Paxil was extremely hard because now I know what it is. I was experiencing the paradoxical reaction. So instead of what antidepressants typically do, I experienced the opposite. So it's like I experienced daily panic, daily like anxiety that I'd never experienced before. And it was really hard. It was like I was experiencing like social anxiety. And don't get me wrong, like life was still good, and I still pushed through. I didn't really tell anybody. Like nobody knew. Everyone was like, oh, Celeste, she's like this incredible dancer that just does so many wonderful things, and she's so perfect, But I'm like,
but inside,
I had this thing going on that I could internally feel. So I stayed on Paxil. My whole college degree. I got my degree in dance. I got a bachelor's in dance, and I really think that actually looking back, dance actually was what helped me get through. It was kind of like therapeutic.
Interesting.
So I'm glad that I had that at the time. But then I graduated from college, and I was just left to myself and trying to decide what I'm going to do and what I'm going to go into. And at the time I was thinking, I really want to like serve a mission for my church. So I decided to serve an 18-month mission, and it was awful. I didn't have dance anymore. So I started singing, and I started, singing at church and singing to people in their homes and whatever, as I was serving on my mission. That was like,
where did you serve your mission at, by the way?
Chicago.
Oh, cool. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, but I want to make a point here that you you could share this part of your story is very similar to mine, where you have anxiety, so you think the medication is treating the anxiety, but it's actually creating it.
Yep.
Did you
Yep.
ever figure that out at the time, or did you just think this is me? This is my
No.
anxiety, and I need to take Paxil to fix the anxiety. You didn't realize it was
Yeah.
coming from the drug.
Isn't it such an awful loop? I didn't
Yes.
know. It's an awful loop. You take it, and I just remember thinking, I feel awful. I don't want to feel this way for the rest of my life. And so I'm like praying to God. I'm doing everything I can. Um, yeah, just to
See,
live my life.
this point, I think people get really confused
Yep.
and we don't know. And I think it makes it easier for the medical establishment to say, like, no, this person actually does have anxiety.
Yeah.
But if you ask the person, like, what in your life is making you anxious, or what is there anything going on that could be contributing to this? Or you got to ask the question too, if the person still has anxiety, then this medication isn't working.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's a point that often people find. Also, when they're coming off, am I going to have that anxiety come back?
Yeah.
And I can't live like that either. So then what am I supposed to do? You know?
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of that, what was your waking up? Like, how did you figure out, wait, it could be the drugs that I'm taking, or do I need to get off of this? Like, what was that process like? Because this is just when you're
Yeah.
in college. So now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I graduated from college, then I served a mission, and then I came home and was like, I really want to get off of this, or I want to see if there's another one that works.
Right.
Because I was like, this is awful. And I went to a doctor and he said, you shouldn't have been put on this, or you should have been changed. Because he said you shouldn't be shaking. Like my heart would race and my bowels were constantly hurting. So it was like, he's like, you shouldn't have been on this. It's too powerful for you. So at this time I'd been on Paxil for like 7 years, and there was some knowledge of Paxil needing to be tapered. And so I was told to cut the pill in half for about a week, maybe two. And then I stopped. And obviously, like, this is where I start to falling apart. And then I got on Lexapro. I took myself as an adult to the doctor, to this psychiatrist who could prescribe, and said, hey, give me an antidepressant. Like, I'm falling apart. Like, everything in my being is like hurting, screaming, like just so much pain and so much turmoil. I didn't know what was happening. And I said, but please make sure that it's safe for pregnancy, because I've heard that some are not safe for pregnancy. And I remember her saying, quote, Lexapro is the safest on the market. And she also said, it's the baby antidepressant. Like, it's so easy. Like, it'll just be awesome. And so I trusted that. It's like, okay, I got on Lexapro, and literally within like a couple days, I felt like this peace and this calm and this numbness that I had, that just blew me away. And it was like, to me at the time, it was like, oh, I found what works for me. Like, I'm not feeling the same way that I felt on Paxil or Cymbalta.
Yeah.
I'm feeling something different, and I could live my life and not feel that. It's so stressful to have anxiety. Like, it hurts, and it's just, yes, mine was chemical anxiety, but I have so much empathy for people that have it organically or chemically. So I was on Lexapro, met my husband, and we had 3 children. Well, my waking up moment, to answer your question, was when I had my second baby in the hospital. I got there, and I didn't have time to get an epidural. And so I had to give birth naturally. And it was so intense, but absolutely incredible and empowering.
Amazing.
And they said, they said what they typically say. They say, oh, well, your baby might be really drowsy when they come out of you. Like, they might have a really hard time adjusting. And I was like, yeah, I've heard that before. But this was kind of my waking up moment, was having a birth that was natural, like that, meaning I didn't have an epidural. And I watched my body heal, and I was like, whoa, maybe I can get rid of my antidepressant too. Because
Wow.
honestly, I knew that me and in my journey, my health
£11.
journey, I wanted that to be gone. Like I wanted to be away from this antidepressant. And my husband and I noticed that over the years of being on it, I started having more and more sexual dysfunction. And I knew that was part of a side effect from the drug.
Mm-hmm.
And that so yeah, I was just determined to get off of it. And
Yeah.
so I had 3 attempts to, that I'll just share briefly, but um I asked a doctor, I said, how do you get off of Lexapro? And they said, oh, go every other day, go every other 2 days, every other 3 days, like that awful, completely wrong way of tapering. And I just remember a day or two after I had completely finished this 2-month taper or whatever it was, um, I started feeling a hell, like that was awful, unspeakable, like, and I knew that I had to get back on because I had to take care of my 2 little children and I had to take care of myself. Um, just to kind of give you an idea of what that felt like, it was like, just to give people an idea, it's like your brain is melting, like it's not working properly and your body is hurting and you're not sleeping. And I just remember screaming. Like if my child accidentally spilled milk on the floor, I would scream and I had no time to process. Like it was like my
Just impulsive.
my
Just,
ability.
yeah.
Yeah, that scared me because
Yeah.
it was like I'm not like that at all. Um, so I got back on and literally everything
Everything's magic. But did you
everything's
think
magically
that's
good.
withdrawal, or did you think I'm actually crazy and I need my meds? Like, what did you
I
think at the
knew
time?
I knew it was withdrawal, and I was like, holy crap, these are powerful drugs. And I knew that, and I just was so devastated that I couldn't
Just
taper.
stop.
But I
Yeah.
knew I could, so I tried again with a different doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I'm like praying even more, like praying to God, like, please
Let this go
help me get
well.
off of this.
Yeah.
So I remember looking up online and being like, seeing, I think I saw Surviving Antidepressants that basically said it could take about 2 years ish to come off safely. And then um, Dr. Google was saying, you can come off within however many months.
And for people that are watching now, they go to ChatGPT, and
Yeah,
ChatGPT tells them you can skip a day and you can do it on opposite days, and it's completely wrong and horrible advice. So please
yeah,
don't use Dr. Google or
yeah.
ChatGPT for taper guidance. It's not a good
Well,
idea.
my that doctor at the time basically was taking the advice of Dr. Google and was like, okay, cut the pill in half, then cut the pill in half again, and then stop. And during this taper, um, something really interesting happened. So I was on 10 milligrams of Lexapro, like all the way up until this second attempt at tapering. And I remember getting down to 5, cutting in half, and then getting down to 2.5 when I cut it into a quarter. And then, like, all these symptoms started happening. And so I went right back up. But instead of going back up, I had this thought come into my mind: don't go back up to the full dose, go up to half. And because you felt fine at that. And I followed that thought
Wait,
that I
was that your
had.
mind or was that intuition?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
But I feel like it was intuition for sure. Like just saying there's something, I don't know. I feel like it was also God kind of guiding me too.
Probably. Yeah.
So I went back up to 5 milligrams. And then I found out that they actually make a 5 milligram baby tablet of Lexapro. So I started having that prescribed to me, a 5 milligram, until I gained the courage to try again. This time, as me, like, trying to be so smart, I was like, well, for sure, like, following the guidance of another doctor, they're like, well, you're at a subtherapeutic dose, so you don't really need to, like, do the taper schedule that you want, which was to cut the pill in half and then cut the pill in half again. Getting down to 2.5, then 1.25, I felt like that would be a golden taper. And I tried it, and it didn't work, and it was just so devastating.
Yeah.
I was like, I literally can't find the way
the right
to get away
taper
from this.
Yeah.
So then I literally gave up. I was like, 3 strikes and I'm out. So I remember, well, maybe like 6 months after that, I had moved to Virginia, which is where I met you. Well, I met you in DC, but in Virginia, I was on the phone with a doctor, and he's like, just talking to me about some other, like, health thing
situation. Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what, I really feel like telling you something. I've tried to get off of my antidepressant 3 different times, and I've been unsuccessful every single time. And I said, I feel like I'm going to be stuck on this for the rest of my life. And he said, okay, I need you to read a book. It's called Anatomy of an Epidemic by Robert Whitaker.
Hallelujah.
And he said, you should not be on an antidepressant for the rest of your life. And you can get off, but you have to be extremely patient. And then we hung up. Like, that conversation changed my life. And I was like, there is a massive hope that is burning in me right now. I can get off. I have to read this book. So I read that book, and my eyes were just opened by that book. And
what was your main takeaway from the book, if you don't mind me asking?
My main takeaway is, this might be kind of radical to say, but I feel like the mental illness, like antidepressants, I can speak mainly about antidepressants, but these type of medications, they're actually causing, like, a global epidemic. Like, they're causing it to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's not fair, you know? Like, where's the justice? I don't know.
Yeah, said another way, you could say the medications are causing the very thing they claim to treat.
Yeah.
And so it just snowballs. And for people that I work with, and probably you too, it happens so subtly, you don't even see it coming. And the next thing you know, you're so far away from yourself and who you thought yourself to be, you don't even know what's going on anymore. And so a lot of people, like you too, you're kind of saying this, which I think speaks to a lot of people that might watch this, where for a time you thought the medication was working, and then it's like, okay, but now I don't want these effects anymore. Like, I changed my mind about this. And people are allowed to change their minds. So one of the narratives that I don't like to hear is when people say, but these medications work for some people. And I would say, yes, they do, but that doesn't mean forever.
Yeah.
They work for you, and then you change your mind.
Yeah. Well, and mine was kind of like a twisted way for them to work for me, because I was in withdrawals from being on Paxil for 7 years. So it's like, I have several friends that are on antidepressants, and they got on it as adults. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I respect your decision to be on antidepressants because they are helpful. Mm-hmm. But that's where I feel like you and I come in, and this community is like, when you're ready to come off.
We're not here to tell you to come off. That's not our job.
We're not here to tell you to come
off. If you stay on, that's your life. That's how I feel about it. You know,
I have to be so respectful. I have to be so respectful of people's choices. But I'm like, people also need to have the right to know how to safely taper. And I feel like that is something that will really come in handy to a lot of people.
Yes. If they want to, then they have the correct information. right?
Yeah. They
Yeah.
don't, because it's kind of a trap. Once you get on a psychiatric drug like antidepressants, and if you are not safely tapered, you're going to be right back on it.
Or
Like,
on 2 or 3 or 4 or 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so now we're to the point where you taper. So I'm assuming you read that book, it blew your mind.
Yep.
And then how did you actually figure out how to taper safely and correctly, and what did that look like?
So I found out that I needed to do a hyperbolic taper. I started watching a bunch of YouTubers, like your channel, Joseph Whitduring's channel. I started watching, Mark Horowitz. And anyway, basically just figured it out that I needed to do this slow taper. I got prescribed liquid Lexapro, which was awesome, just to get on something that I could make small reductions without pill cutting and shaving, which seemed like too much for my brain.
Yeah.
And that, when I learned about the hyperbolic taper, how there's like a curve in how the receptors need to be rebuilt, that tiny little 5 milligram of Lexapro, like a quarter of it happened to be the cliff of when things get really hard. That 1.25 milligram, which you think would be like not a big deal, was actually like cliff that you needed to basically rappel down off of in order to find safety. And so the beginning of my taper, I think, was much harder psychologically, because it was like, what am I getting into? This is really hard. But as things, the taper like really showed me that I could do this safely and manageably. I could still take care of my children.
Because you slowed way down. You did this in an informed way. Now, I have to ask this question just for people that are listening, because a lot of the people in my audience, they read everything. It's like they have to get a bachelor's degree in deep prescribing because they got to know what's going on, right? So how did you work with all the scary stuff that you read and all the dogma that's out there that says, like, there's one message right now, I won't call it dogma, but that says it's going to get harder on your way down. You're going to hit a certain point where it gets really hard. You could have severe withdrawal while you're still on the med. You know, these scary things that people hear. How did you handle those? Like, what did you,
I periodically went to your taper support groups, which was super helpful because it kind of kept me in check. That you're fine. You're actually doing incredibly well.
Yes.
To kind of give an idea of what my taper symptoms were like, it was kind of similar to being pregnant. And I think a lot of women that have been pregnant can kind of understand, like, oh, okay, your body is changing. Like, you need to take a nap. You are feeling growing pains. You are, you're not sleeping at night. Like, you're
feel yucky. Yeah. Can't do things. You can't bend over to tie your shoes.
You can't get up really fast because then you'll get dizzy.
Yeah.
There were specific things that the taper had that pregnancy didn't have. I would say to my husband all the time, I would say, I would think I was pregnant if I didn't know I was tapering.
Wow.
Because
amazing.
It's so similar. The things that were the biggest were just like a lot more progressive amounts of insomnia the lower I got, but I didn't let it bother me. I just let it happen. And therefore, I was fine. I wasn't walking around like an exhausted mess of a mother taking care of my kids. No, I didn't go out and go running. I didn't do anything crazy like that, but.
So,
yeah.
Okay, people that have not come to a taper support circle, there's a teaching, like I have philosophy about this whole thing. And there's little points of education that we talk about. Okay. One of them, I think the biggest one that and you've probably heard me say it like 8 times, but that you have to listen to your body, and you can only go as fast on a taper as what your body is telling you. So a lot of people will say, I can't feel my intuition. I can't feel my body, Angie. I don't know what my body's doing. But if you give them some time and they start to kind of settle into that, like, okay, I can't follow a taper schedule to the T exactly, like on the first of the month, I'm going to taper this much. On the first of the week, every Monday, I'm going to taper this much. The person has to take responsibility to be like, I can only do 1% this month. That's all I'm doing. And then next month I'll see and how I feel. And then I'll decide, do I want to go to 2 or do I want to stay at 1? And it's kind of like a constant tuning in to what your body can handle and what you can do. And so that's usually what helps people like manage their functionality if they're not dysregulated when they start a taper, but it's to keep that functioning, right? So can you just talk about like the particulars? How much did you taper? When did you know when to cut? And I love that you switched, and I'll let you share that method because I mentioned it during a call and you were a perfect candidate for a different way to taper. But talk about the particulars, like how did you taper and what percentage and all that?
So I knew that it was kind of a mind game. It was like you're dealing with the psychological and the physical symptoms. So one of my motivations for getting my taper done, and I wanted to do it pretty quickly, was so that I could get pregnant with another child. I have 3, and I've always wanted to have 4 children. And so I wanted to not go super slowly because time's a ticking. I'm 37 right now. Anyway, I just was kind of feeling a rush. So I probably took things a little bit faster than
Other people would
do. But I did stick around the 10% range. If, like, when I was making the measurements, using the
syringe.
5 milligram or the 1 milligram syringe, before I even got the 0.5 milliliters, before I even got that, I would basically go to whatever was the easiest. I would take the next line or the next. So it might have been a little bit more than 10. It might have been a little under 10%. But I really stuck to that. And I basically went 2 weeks between reductions. But if I got sick, like if I got the cold or I got COVID or something, I would just take as much time as I needed until I made another reduction. And it's scary, which is why the blind
taper
is huge, because it takes away the psychological fear and anticipation of withdrawals. So he actually, my husband.
Well, let's introduce it first. So what happened was when I first met you, you told me that your husband was helping you with the measurements, and I was like, wait. And you were really scared about like the next cut. And so if a person has someone that can manage their taper, even if it's a pharmacist or a doctor's willing to write the script or whatever, if the person themselves is willing to give up some of the control, because that's what it is, like I'm letting my husband, I'm going to trust him to cut what he thinks I should cut without me knowing, because that's what a blind taper is. But you were like a perfect candidate for this. And it was to control for that psychological impact and fear around the next cut, which our community doesn't talk about a lot because we all think, no, I'm not afraid. I just went off of this. But you do have an anticipation effect. You could call it nocebo. You could call it, all the stuff you've read has like tainted your perception about what's going to happen. And so you're expecting it to be bad and like, oh God, I cut on Monday. Now I got to sit here and scan my symptoms in my body. So it kind of controls for some of that. So what was that like for you? Like when I said it and you looked it up and you were like, wait, let's do it. I mean,
yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that my husband's like, yeah, of course I'm going to do this for you. And I knew that he wasn't ever going to miss a morning of giving me that liquid. And so, yeah, it really helped. Yes, I was kind of upset that I didn't have the control of knowing what amount I was at. But I kind of just had to constantly remind myself, my husband has my back. Like he has this. And he would basically write down all the symptoms I had. And when they resolved, he would make another reduction.
wow.
So this is really interesting because it was like day one, this would happen. day 2, this would happen. Day 3. And he
You
said,
got it down to a pattern you could see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that really showed me. So by like, he actually made, and I'm not like recommending this like necessarily, but he made a cut every single week to finish my taper. And I did amazing. Like, I did fine. Like, I still had those day 1, day 2, day 3. He said, but after day 3, I was fine. But he still kind of waited it out until the next week, just in case. And he took me all the way down to like 0.06, 0.04, 0.02, 0.01. And then that was my end dose, was 0.01 milligrams, which seems like crazy.
Nothing, but okay. So what was it like? So for you, did you get worse as you went lower?
Nope. No.
Did you feel better as you went lower?
It changes. The symptoms
talk
change.
About that.
So the symptoms at the beginning of my taper were a lot more like head pressure pain. Like I would feel, and it would usually only kind of feel like you have a medieval torture device around your head torturing you. That would usually happen on one day each time I made a reduction. And only for like a couple of hours, like 2 or 3 hours. And I would just have my husband squeeze my head. Kind of like when you're in labor and the husband is like, or the partner is like squeezing the sides and the belly. What? That's kind of what he was doing to my head.
Okay.
But that got less and less as the taper went down and down and down. The thing that got more amplified I would say would be the insomnia. So I would have like 1 night per month of just being completely awake all night long. And then it went to 2 nights per month. And it just kind of like, that got progressively more and more, but I also became more, I think, more mentally strong. Like
you were coming back.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Let it happen. Yeah. I was coming back, and I wouldn't tell people how much sleep I had, because I didn't want them to worry, because I felt fine. I wasn't worried. If you freak out about not getting sleep, then you actually do really poorly. And so I knew that. I had kind of like prepped myself before the taper, learning from some sleep coaches on YouTube.
Basically you're allowing the symptoms be what they are. You're not reacting in fear and being frustrated and freaking out and Googling it and going to the doctor about it. You were just like, I'm taking it as it comes. Let it do what it's got to do. This is part of my healing process. Don't fight it so hard. Yeah.
And you're like, you're embracing it. So for like back to my analogy about like childbirth or giving birth, you welcome the contractions. So you welcome the withdrawals because they're a part of telling you that you're healing. Yeah. So that might ring true. Like people might.
It's hard for people because I think if you come in this destabilized, like you are very symptomatic, you are very scared, you read a bunch of scary material, people are generally like, I want off of this, get it out of my body right now. But it's like, you can't do it that way. Okay. And then they see the symptoms as, this is something I need to treat or fix, or there's something really wrong with me, Angie. Like, I know that. And I'm like, okay, go to the doctor, go find out. And they don't find anything because and then they come to the dead end. Okay, wait, it is the drug. It is the withdrawal. And then once you can slow a person down, hopefully, or they can get some more stability, it's just hard to make that mind shift from my symptoms are dangerous to my symptoms are part of my healing process, but I want to keep them mild. Like, I don't want them out of control, obviously, but it's part of my injury a little bit, but part of my healing too. So I don't want to fight. I don't want to tell my body stop healing. Like, no, I want it to fix itself, you know?
Yeah.
That's excellent. Okay. So now we're at the part where you take your last dose. What was that like?
Oh, I didn't know that it was happening. But I felt just the same day 1, day 2, day 3, and then I was fine. And
when did your husband tell you that you just took your last dose?
He got all the kids. He got all the kids in the car, and he said, "Hey, Celeste, pick where you want to go to dinner. And so we went to some taco place because I love tacos. And
Me too.
he's like, he sat in the car and he said, "Okay, mommy has been done with her taper for 2 weeks now, and we're celebrating." And I'm like shocked.
Because you didn't even know you were off.
Because I thought that he was going to be taking like 2 weeks, and
So he was giving you water in your syringes, and you thought it was medicine.
Yeah.
The power of the mind, isn't that strong?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I actually kept my liquid, like I kept my liquid Lexapro in my closet for like 2 months. I actually
just to hang on to it.
I hung on to it because I wasn't ready to let that go, which sounds silly.
No,
but
I had the same experience. That's why I asked you this question. It's hard. Like, I think the impact of taking a medicine every single day for over 20 years teaches you something about yourself. And there's more of an attachment to it than just the drug in my body. I don't even, what would you say about it? Like, how do you explain that?
Oh gosh.
It's like you're letting go of something that you thought was helping you. And now you're like, now what? What's going to happen without this thing that I've been told that is supposed to help me with my brokenness? But then you find out, wait, I wasn't really broken in the first place. Like, so how do I, but it's like you have an attachment to it. I can't hardly explain it.
Yeah, no, I think you actually explained it perfectly. It's a beast, but I'm so glad that I'm 3 months off now, and every single day I'm like, I don't have to take this. Like it's kind of been like a bondage to me to be. I was actually thinking about this analogy just this last weekend. Do you mind if I share it?
No, please.
So this is I love this analogy because I feel like it really helps me. So in the Bible, the children of Israel are in bondage in Egypt, and they are able to, through a lot of work, they're able to get out of bondage to the Egyptians. So the children of Israel do a huge work and they get out, but then they get to what? They get to the Red Sea, and this amazing miracle happens where they have to where the Red Sea is parted and they have to cross it, which is not just a little walk in the park, probably. So they cross the Red Sea, and then what happens after that? Then the sea resumes its form, and then where are they?
On the other side.
They're in the other. They're on the other side, but they're in a wilderness, and so they didn't really get to their promised land until they traveled in the wilderness to get there. And so I kind of took that as my bondage in Egypt, like the children of Israel, was me, my 20 years. I'm 37, so it's a huge part of my life.
Yes.
Being in there and then getting out and then crossing the Red Sea, which is all made possible by God. That's how I feel. It's all made possible by God. But then being in the wilderness, I still have to constantly depend on God because I haven't completely healed from the side effects of the drugs, like the emotional blunting and the sexual dysfunction hasn't fully healed. I know it will. I know I'll reach my promised land, but I'm in a wilderness. But I was sharing that with the sister-in-law, and she just said, find your little promised lands. And I'm like, yeah, that's so true. I'm done with taking Lexapro. I'm done. I put that behind me. I closed that door. But I still have healing yet to come. But it's exciting. It's no longer this captivity, this bondage. It's exciting. It's healing. It's coming alive. And I know you feel that too.
Oh yeah, I do.
Being able to feel fully human, to feel all I'm very musical, so I love the analogy of the piano and being able to play all the octaves instead of all the octaves instead of the middle is you can play the whole range of emotions, and all of your feelings that you're supposed to feel as a human being, that's been kind of taken away from me or blunted with antidepressants. So I don't actually know what it feels like to grieve. And I don't really know what it feels like to feel this joy. And I don't really know the full extent of my sexual capacities.
Yeah.
Because I was 16 when this whole journey started. But I know that I will have healing. And so I feel so.
I love the way you said that. Like, it sounds like part of your why is I want to feel human again. I want all of my humanity back.
Yeah.
Which I find is it's such a hard thing to find out that you lost and you didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Until later, you know.
I was really angry at God. I'll be honest, like when I found out after I read that book and realized that I had just kind of lost 20 years of my life. But then through some spiritual experiences I had, I learned that it's actually part of God's plan that for me, that I've been through this. It's brought me closer to God, like it's brought me closer to my family, my children, and it's also given me the tools to protect my children. Because honestly, when you're on these medications, starting as a teenager and through your adult life, you think, like as a mother, oh, I might have to medicate my children because they have my DNA or whatever. And so I have told my children, like I've taught them and I will continue to teach them like the dangers. And yes, there are a lot of people that can benefit from them, but I'm going to protect my children with my life.
I've had other mothers say that this happened to me so that I would not medicate my kids, that I would find another way to help them get through school or whatever it was, or through big emotion, or I would just put like more of a emphasis on emotional regulation and stress management through the kid's life. Like it just caused me to be a better mother because of this happening to me, you know?
Yeah. It's helped me to be a better person and me on my health journey. I wanted to see what it was like to be off of antidepressants, and I wanted to feel more in control of my own health.
Mm-hmm.
And so my children, what do? Do I feed them a bunch of junk food? Like,
no, not around here.
No, because
okay. Go ahead.
Obviously, like I still, let them have fun, and around the holidays they're going to have all kinds of treats and stuff like that. But I want them to have the best chance at a healthy life. And something interesting that I learned at this video, someone said a mother needs to look at themselves before, like as they're trying to help their child, they actually need to turn it around and say, wait, is there something that I need to fix? And I was like, ooh, that's so
or am I a healthy example for my family? I love that. Okay, speaking of that, I think I can hear this in your story that you did really, I mean, I might have seen you in, I don't know, maybe 8 tapering circles, not a lot. Like you weren't, coming every single week like some people do. You would pop in here and pop in there, and I would see you on comments here and there. So it sounds like you stayed in your own experience and you minded your own business as much as you possibly could. Did you do that? And I want to know, what are some other coping tools that you did? Like, what are the things that actually helped you the most the last couple of years?
Yeah, a lot of things, but I really tried to actually stay away from anything that would scare me or was toxic in any way. Like no scary stories, because that's not going to help you. No. I would read positive stories, or I would just not read anything at all, and I would just take care of my children. I would spend time with friends. Oh, and I shared my story a lot, and I asked for a lot of prayers, and I had a lot of people supporting me, and my husband was just my rock. So I had a lot of things going for me, and I also felt like my spirituality was becoming stronger because I was suffering. Like, yes, it was manageable, but it was the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, I say to people, my taper was like having 2 pregnancies back to back. Like, it's hard. It's really, really taxing, but it is such an incredible road to freedom that I had to do. I had to do it, and I was happy to do it. But yeah, I didn't go out and um, have a therapist, or I didn't go to the doctor. I just stayed in my little circle and
Yeah. And you
just
kind of use,
simplified
it's like
life.
you use the most positive outlets that you could find, just kind of like as an anchor point. Like you'd come pop in the group. We were
Yeah,
talking about a certain topic and you'd be like, okay, I'm not crazy. This is real. I can
yeah,
keep going. All
yeah,
right, next. And then you stayed in your life, you stayed distracted, living your life, really. That's the whole point. Like, what's the point of tapering if you are going to throw it off the rails? Like, you're trying to keep things going, right? Meanwhile, I can see it in your face, Celeste. You are suffering. You do
yeah,
have some
yeah,
symptoms. Like, it's not
yeah,
a walk in the park. It's not cherry picking. Like, no, it hurts. It's hard. Some of your emotions come back that are difficult, and some of them are confusing. The part about the wilderness that you said, it's very much like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if I could have symptoms tomorrow. I got to stay right here, right now, and do the best I can today. And thank God I have people in my life that are supporting me and keeping me busy while this is all happening.
yep,
That's the ideal way to do it. If you could do it, that's the best way.
yeah.
Okay, now, one more thing, because I know people in the audience are going to ask this. How long total did your taper take?
Um, okay, so I was aiming for 1 year, which was ridiculous.
Too
And
fast,
then,
usually.
yeah, way too fast. But obviously I didn't get there. I then decided to just aim for 2 years. And when I was about at the 18-month mark, Adam took over my taper and finished everything in 1 month. So it took, the full length was 19 months. So that is quite fast. But also keep in mind, I actually started at 5 milligrams, which is like 5 milligrams of Lexapro is way smaller than I think,
Yeah, it's not a full dose.
usually
So
are
it
on,
took you 19 months for the last 5 milligrams.
yeah,
Yeah, that's how they're going to want to hear it.
yeah.
Yes, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Will you please thank Adam? Adam, I know you're going to watch this later. Thank you. You are husband of the year. I have to say I have a couple husbands of the year, but you are one of them. So thank you for helping her and taking over the taper to control for that fear factor that she had. You helped her. It's amazing. Okay.
Thank you.
Now I have a couple more quick questions. If you can
Yeah,
kind of popcorn real quick. Was there oh, I know that you told me before we got on that singing was really important to you.
yeah,
Can you please sing me a song or
yes,
sing a song for our audience? Because I want
yeah.
them to hear your beautiful voice.
I'm not professional by any means, but I absolutely, um, I love singing so much. So this song is really helpful, has been so helpful for me, and it's called "Come to Jesus." I don't know how well known it is, but the first verse says, "Come to Jesus when you hunger," and then the second verse is, "Come to Jesus when you're weary or fearful." And then the third verse, which I love the most, is, "Come to Jesus when you're ready for a sweeter way of life." That's really what I feel like is happening right now, is I'm getting a sweeter way of life, a true living that I desire. So I'll sing that song. Let me hit my piano so I can get the right note. I'm just gonna sing a cappella.
I love this.
Come to Jesus when you hunger for a feast that satisfies. Come to Jesus when you wonder why your spirit's running dry. He will feed you from his table, living water he will pour, till you're filled with bread of life, and your soul will thirst you hunger, come to Jesus. Come to Jesus when you're weary of the burdens you must bear. Come to Jesus when you're fearful and your heart is in despair. He will ease the load you carry by the power of his hand. As you lean on him for strength, you will find that you can stand. So if you're weary, come to Jesus. Come and claim the Savior's grace. Seek for him and you will find yourself in his embrace. Come to Jesus when you're ready for a sweeter way of life. Come to Jesus when you're heading down a path with no light. He will take your sin and weakness. He will wash away the shame. He will purify your heart, and you will never be the same. So if you're ready, come to Jesus. To Jesus, come to Jesus.
That was beautiful. They gave me the chills like 5 times. And what I kept thinking was the way that you sing when you're on medicine is different than the way you sing when you're off. Like the way you feel the words, the way that what the words mean to you. Like it's just 2 different experiences, you know?
Yeah.
And I know you're early off because 3 months is not much, but I can tell you it gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. And the best.
I can tell. I'm like,
how do you know? Tell me.
Excited.
Tell the audience why you feel that.
Well, I feel that way because every single week I feel like a cloud is passing. Like I feel like the dark clouds are lifting. I'm able to exercise, which is huge for me because I grew up, I've always been a dancer and runner, very athletic, and so being able to have exercise back, I can go out and run. Like I can run 20-30 minutes and feel amazing. So being able to exercise, being able to have my sleep slowly get better, like it's incredible. Yeah, I had 3 months. Who knows what I'll be at, you know, in 6 months. I feel like
what happens is, and maybe you've gotten a taste of this or not, I don't know, you tell me, but things start to like, you just like feel yourself coming back, but you don't even remember what that was like, and you don't know who that is, but when it starts to come back, you're like, oh, there I am. Like I was just playing peekaboo with myself a little bit for 20 years. Also like these little simple joys, like the way that you see somebody's face, or like the way your kid laughs and you're just like, oh my gosh, like it brings you so much joy that you never felt before and you didn't even know you lost. And so like things are like, the way I think about it is the depth of suffering that you felt, you're going to get the depth of joy on the other side. And maybe you're not quite there yet because you still have that anhedonia. Yeah. But as that veil lifts, it's like, whoa, I didn't even know life could be like this, you know? Yeah. And I'm not trying to say that to like, it's just what happens. It's just what happens. I've never seen it not happen. You know, and sometimes it comes like once a year, and then it's like once a month, and then it's once a week. And then, you know, maybe it fizzles down a little bit, but you still get it here and there and here and there. And just things have a different quality to them that you didn't even know were missing, you know?
And being out of survival mode, because that's kind of what the taper feels like, because it just feels like it's never going to end. Being out of that is so refreshing. Like I don't even know if I'm like ready to have another baby, or if I'm even gonna do that. Like at this point, I'm just needing to let my body heal.
Yeah.
Um, and I love I love my family. Love my children. In fact, I had a thought just like in the middle of my taper that said, "Cherish the children you have." And I was like, okay, I I just need to cherish the children I have and go on this healing journey that I need to go on, and let it happen. And yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
Love
Like,
it. I can't wait to see you in like 6 months and then 12 months and then 18 months. It
yeah.
just keeps getting better and better. Oh, okay. One more
And
point I want to.
my
Okay.
relationship, I just want to say, like, my
Yeah.
relationship with my husband, I feel like is going to be that much more beautiful, because when you are trying to grow together as husband and wife, like having that sexual dysfunction, it gets in the way of your relationship. Like it gets in the way of that part of your growth and your union. And so having that part starting to heal is is going to be so incredible for my marriage.
Yeah. And just for yourself, like people that watched the me and Brooke interview, if you didn't see it, go back and watch it. But like you come into yourself again and you try to figure out like who am I as a human woman? Like there's
Yeah.
a body down there that I forgot about. And this is remember Celeste is a very Christ like a Mormon woman who's in the church, okay? Who the sexuality might be different for somebody outside of a church or a religion. It's not about that, okay? It's not about shame or anything or about like what she should do and what I should do. It's about her coming into herself and her own context and her own humanness and feminine power or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it,
Yeah. Well,
which
and
is a
it's like,
beautiful thing that God
yeah,
created, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
the the God-given powers to feel um that ecstasy that shouldn't be taken away from people.
No,
So,
it wasn't fair that it was taken from you too, you know? Okay, so we're getting to an hour. It's a 1 hour and 2 minutes so far. So I think we should probably end, even though I could probably talk to you for another hour. But if you could leave one, no, you could say as much as you want, but I like to end on hope.
yeah.
So what hope do you want people to take away from our conversation or from your journey? The people that are watching, what hope would you leave with them?
Oh, I just want to speak to people like that are currently on antidepressants. Um, like your journey will your journey is different. You know, if you need to be on antidepressants for the rest of your life, then that's fine. But for me and for a lot of people that want to be able to find a way safely off, there is a way safely off. And it's like, it's to take those gradual reductions month by month by month, but it is so doable. It's so manageable. So that's the message I want to share, is that um, life will be hard. You have to make a lot of sacrifices, but it is well worth it in order to get off safely. Um, you know, I think when I was on antidepressants, I didn't quite know the effect until I tried to get off, and then I realized, oh, that's why this side effect and this side effect, this side effect. So, unfortunately, in order to learn, you kind of have to learn the hard way for a lot of people. And I don't want so many of my dear friends, I don't want them to learn the hard way. I want them to just have, when they want to come off, because I actually do have some friends that do want to come off, or they have it in their mind to come off within the next year or so. They can come off safely, but it's so gradual, but it's so worth it. Another thing that I wanted to share um, is actually about you, Angie. So I got to meet you in DC, which was awesome. It was hard for me because I was still like in withdrawals. And so I couldn't really share everything. And it is what it is. But
Well, I remember you left early, and I was like, I didn't get to say goodbye to her. Darn it. Okay, come
yeah,
back.
yeah, I did leave early. I was like, I need to get to bed. Like I have like I always get to bed early, even if I'm not sleeping. I always get to bed early. um, so just like a month ago, I was talking to my husband in the kitchen, saying, "Hey, Adam, guess who? Out of all the people in the world, I want to share my story with, that I feel the most safe to share my story with, someone that gets it." And he looks at me and he says, "Angie Peacock." And I was like surprised. He totally guessed it right. And out of all of my friends and people that have helped me and served me, I've just been so grateful. But I've been especially grateful for you, Angie, because in your taper support groups and in all the videos that you make, I've just watched so many. Like I've probably binge watched a ton of them. But I feel like your suffering and in turn your service has been the most Christ-like ministering I have received.
Wow.
Because he understands
You're going to make me cry. You
exactly,
see I'm crying.
he understands exactly what I've gone through. He understands exactly what you've gone through. And because he has suffered all of what I've experienced, even way before I was born. And so you are in the trenches with people. And that's exactly what Christ would do if he was on earth right now. So I just wanted to thank you for being that Christ-like person to me and to so many people, because they need you. And I'm just so grateful that this community keeps growing and that there are so many more people that are giving this type of service that is so needed. And it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
It is getting worse. It is.
It is getting worse. And the antidepressants, they're going to keep coming. Like there's new ones right now on TV. There's like 2 of them that I just watched.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it's not going to end, but I'm thankful for you, Angie.
I'm thankful for you that you trusted me and that you stuck around and that you came back to share your story, because your story is going to serve others too right now. And I'm just going to say this because I have a tendency to not take a compliment. and I want you to know that while you were saying that to me, I was really present with it and took it in, which is why the tears. So thank you for seeing me, that I do really try to be a vessel for God's love to come through me. That's really how I think about it. Thank you.
You are that.
Okay. I try. I'm not always perfect. Sometimes the devil comes through me. not so much. But yeah.
I love that you're feeling and that you have those tears. Every time I see that, I want that.
It'll come. Trust me. It'll be like, it's so much. It's like so much gratitude. Like, whoa, it's like a flood. I can't hold it back. And I'm not going to say I'm sorry for crying. Never. And you've seen me yell at people in my groups, like, don't ever apologize for crying. We want you to cry.
Exactly.
This is a safe place for you to do that. Yes. Yeah. So embracing our humanness is like, I want it all. I want to feel the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the messy. And even if it hurts, and as you will know, it's still like natural childbirth. You want to feel it. You want to know what it was like to birth a baby, like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, thank you for saying that. Okay. Do you have any final words? Wait, I got one more question, because I know someone in the audience is going to want to know this question.
Yeah.
Being put on as a teenager is its own special population. Okay. And it adds to your confusion about who you're going to be when you come off. Did you have doubts about, maybe the medication harmed me while I was developing? Like, who am I going to be? Because I don't really know myself as a woman in my 30s without medication. Like, how did you navigate that part?
Because I've seen and heard people heal, I am just giving my body time to regenerate. Like I feel like my all of my body is like going through like the fire. Like it's going through a cleansing, refining process, and their cells that have been deadened and numbed, they're going to regenerate, and it's going to be normal again. And so, yeah, does that answer your question?
Perfectly. You said it perfect. And what I want to accentuate, and this is a testament to you, Celeste, that you got the information you needed. You believed in yourself. You have the support around you of people that believe in you to reflect that back to you. You did a touchstone here and there as you needed in the community, but you really did. It's like you took radical responsibility for your own healing process, for your own taper, for you staying on the right path. And I know how scary that is because you don't know. Like, you're like, I'm listening to people that have come off antidepressants. I'm not listening to the doctors who I tried 3 other times their way. I'm going to try this other path, and I'm going to walk in the dark for a little while, and I'm going to trust God, and I'm going to trust the journey, and I'm going to trust the people that I can take advice from, and I'm going to trust my husband with my dose. And you kind of walked in blind faith, and look how it absolutely worked out. Like, that's what I want everyone to do. That it's more than that too, though. It's also like, it's not going to be easy, but I'm willing to do it, and I'm willing to take it one day at a time. And I don't want just my anxiety and depression to go away. I want to embrace everything, and I want to be healthy, and I want to be a good example for my children, and I want to reach my highest potential. Yeah. And I want to be who I was meant to be and born to be. And like, that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
What you just did.
In fact, I thank you. That means a lot to me. One of the things that I noticed that when I was on antidepressants, I still had depression, and it's totally mine. Like, it was usually around when the time change. We have one coming like this.
Yeah, spring for fall back. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So my body goes through a little depression, and that was always strange to me. And after I had my first baby, I had postpartum depression, and I was like, I'm on an antidepressant. Why is this not?
Yeah.
So I know that having depression and anxiety, they are normal and natural, and they shouldn't be, or they don't need to be medicated, but they need to be listened to, and it's telling you something. There's wisdom in it. And a lot of people are scared of their depression or scared of their anxiety.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've been reading the book Crossing Zero, and he goes a lot into like, is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah, Crossing Zero, Anna Sorensen's book. We'll put all the links to the books in the caption so people know how to find them.
Yeah, and it really goes into like the psychology of like letting go and learning about what the drugs actually do, and being able to navigate psychologically. And I love that. There's so many cool things that I've never learned before.
You've learned so much. Everyone learns so much in this process about yourself, about the world, about what you used to believe, and now what are you going to believe now? Because life still happens, you know, anxieties still come up. I still have human emotions. I'm not a robot. People still die. I still get heartbroken, and I feel it, and I'm not scared of it. And I touch other people if I need a little bit of feedback, or after we hang up, I'm going to go to a body worker just to get back in my body and just feel how does it feel in there? Get some body work. So we just approach things in a different way now after going through this experience, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Celeste, for blessing us with your beautiful voice and your beautiful story today. And I hope it brings so much strength to the people that are going through this. And the point I wanted to make, and you made it very effectively, is it's not always bad. There's not always horror stories. People do get better on their way down. It's not just, it gets hard and it's going to be terrible. And even when it's hard and terrible, you get through it anyway. And we all do. And we find some inner strength that we didn't even know we had sometimes. And you get gifts out of this that you didn't even know possible. So thank you for being a testament to that. And I hope it brings everyone hope in the audience.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you later.
Bye.